Officer Caleb Mercer had worked patrol for 12 years in the quiet outskirts of Portland, mostly along the forgotten stretch of road locals called Redwood Highway. It wasn't officially haunted. It wasn't marked as dangerous. But among night shift officers, it had a nickname whispered over burnt coffee at 3 a.m. The Mile of Silence. Caleb didn't believe in ghost stories. He believed in paperwork, dashcam footage, and body cam batteries that never lasted long enough. He believed in procedure. And procedure said, you always respond to a 911 call, even if dispatch sounds unsure. That night, just after 2:17 a.m., the radio cracked alive. Unit 12, we have a distress call from Redwood Highway near mile marker 18. Caller reports an officer requesting backup. Caleb frowned. Requesting backup? Who? Unknown. Caller hung up. No registered unit in that location. Static swallowed the line. Caleb checked the mobile computer in his cruiser. No officer pinged near mile 18. He grabbed his flashlight anyway and pulled onto the highway. The road was nearly empty. Pine trees leaned over the asphalt like silent witnesses. Fog drifted low and thick, swallowing his headlights in pale sheets. His phone buzzed. No number, no caller ID. He answered, breathing, slow, wet, close to the microphone. Then a voice, shaky, distorted. Officer, I'm at mile 18. He's still here. The call dropped. Caleb's pulse quickened. He accelerated. Mile marker 18 appeared through the fog like a gravestone. A black and white cruiser sat crooked on the shoulder. Lights off. Engine dead. Caleb slowed, heart thudding. The cruiser's number was faded but readable. Unit 23. He knew Unit 23. Officer Daniel Hargrove. But Daniel had died 5 years ago. Right here. Caleb remembered the funeral, the folded flag, the story about a late-night stop that went wrong. They never caught whoever shot him. His killer vanished into the woods. Caleb's breath fogged the inside of his windshield. Dispatch, he whispered into the radio. Confirm Unit 23 status. Silence. Only static. He stepped out of his cruiser. The air was unnaturally cold. The abandoned cruiser looked wrong, not rusted, not overgrown, clean, as if it had just been parked. Caleb approached slowly. The driver's door creaked open on its own. Inside, the dashboard flickered to life. Radio static. Then a voice. Daniel's voice. Unit 23 requesting backup. Suspect still in the vehicle. Caleb's hands trembled. Daniel. The radio inside the empty cruiser crackled louder. Caleb, don't let him out. The trunk slammed shut behind him. Caleb spun around. A sedan sat 30 feet back in the fog. Dark windows, engine idling softly. It hadn't been there seconds ago. Procedure. Approach from rear. Watch hands. Call for backup. He reached for his radio. Dead. Battery full. Screen on. No signal. The sedan's headlights flicked on. High beams. Blinding. A shape moved inside the car. A silhouette. Too still. Too tall. Caleb's body cam blinked red. Recording. He walked forward, boots crunching on gravel. Driver, step out of the vehicle. The silhouette didn't move. He edged closer. The driver's door opened slowly. No one stepped out. The interior light flickered. Empty seat. But the engine was still running. Caleb's throat tightened. He moved toward the open door. Inside the car, something wet dripped from the ceiling onto the steering wheel. Blood. Fresh. He stepped back. The fog thickened suddenly, swirling violently around him. The cruiser behind him, Daniel's cruiser, roared to life. Lights flashing. Sirens wailing. Caleb turned. In the driver's seat of Unit 23, someone sat. Silhouette. Wearing a police uniform. Face hidden in shadow. The radio inside Caleb's cruiser turned on by itself. Dispatch voice. Distorted. Officer down at mile marker 18. Officer down. Caleb's stomach dropped. That was the exact phrasing from Daniel's death report. The sedan door slammed shut. The engine cut. Silence. Complete silence. Even the forest stopped breathing. Then footsteps. Behind him. Heavy. Slow. Caleb spun around. No one there. But the ground was wet. Footprints forming in the gravel. Approaching him. Invisible steps closing the distance. His chest tightened. "Show yourself!" The air grew colder with each step. He backed toward his cruiser. The door handle wouldn't budge. Locked. The invisible footsteps stopped inches away from him. He could feel someone standing there, breathing on his face. Then, a whisper in his ear. "You let him go." Caleb's memory snapped back. 5 years ago. Daniel had pulled over a sedan matching this exact description. Caleb had been first backup. He remembered arriving late. Remembered seeing Daniel's cruiser. Remembered hearing a single gunshot from the woods. He had chased someone into the trees, but he lost him. Officially, the suspect escaped. Unofficially, Caleb had frozen. He hesitated. That hesitation cost Daniel his life. "You let him go," the whisper repeated. The ground beneath Caleb's boots felt soft, like mud. He looked down. He wasn't standing on gravel anymore. He was standing in blood, pooling around his feet. The fog parted. Daniel stood in front of him. Not shadowed now. Face pale. Eyes hollow. Uniform soaked in dark red. "You heard him in the woods," Daniel said calmly. "You could have chased him." Caleb's voice cracked. I thought you were already." "You thought wrong." The sedan's trunk creaked open. Inside lay a body. Caleb stepped closer. It was Daniel, as he looked 5 years ago. Still bleeding, still dying. The version of Daniel in front of him turned his head slowly. "He's still here." The invisible presence moved again, this time circling Caleb. Like a predator, Daniel's ghost looked toward the fog. He never left this road. Caleb felt fingers wrap around his ankle. Ice cold. He screamed and fell backward. Hands dragged him toward the sedan. He clawed at the pavement, but the ground was slick with blood. Daniel stood motionless. "You have to finish it," Daniel said softly. The back seat of the sedan shifted. A figure rose slowly from inside. Tall, limbs too long, head tilted at an unnatural angle. Its face was blurred, like static on a broken television. But its eyes were red police lights, flashing. It stepped out of the sedan without bending, like gravity didn't apply. Caleb reached for his weapon. It was gone. The creature spoke with overlapping voices. "You stopped chasing." Caleb scrambled backward until his spine hit Daniel's cruiser. The trunk of the cruiser popped open. Inside, a shotgun. Daniel's old service shotgun. Daniel looked at him. "Now." The creature lunged. Caleb grabbed the shotgun and fired. The blast echoed through the forest. The creature screamed, not in pain, but in rage. Its form flickered violently. Caleb fired again. The fog exploded outward in a shockwave. The sedan shattered into fragments of darkness. The creature dissolved into smoke. Silence returned. Real silence this time. No cruiser. No sedan. No Daniel. Just empty road. Caleb lay on the pavement, shaking. His own cruiser's headlights were the only lights present. Dispatch crackled alive suddenly. "Unit 12, status check. You've been stopped for 30 minutes. 30 minutes. It felt like hours. "I'm clear," he managed. He looked around one last time. Mile marker 18 stood alone in the fog. No abandoned cruiser. No blood. But something glinted on the gravel. A police badge. Daniel Hargrove's badge. Caleb picked it up slowly, warm to the touch. The official report said Officer Caleb Mercer discharged his weapon at a wild animal. No evidence of another vehicle was found. But from that night on, Redwood Highway stopped claiming lives. No more mysterious accidents. No more late-night calls with no caller ID. Caleb transferred out of patrol 2 months later. He kept Daniel's badge in his locker. Some nights, when the station is quiet and the radio hums softly, Caleb swears he hears a voice through the static. Not angry anymore, just calm. Backup received. The rain in Quezon City never really fell straight. It drifted sideways through narrow streets, sliding across rusted gates and tangled electric wires before pooling in potholes that reflected flickering streetlights. Senior Police Officer Rafael Villanueva had worked the night shift for almost 15 years. He preferred it that way. The city felt more honest at night. Less noise, fewer excuses, just darkness and whatever chose to move inside it. But there was one place he hated patrolling. Barangay Maligaya. The name meant joyful, but nobody used it that way anymore. Among officers at the station, it had a different name. Barangay Tahimik. The silent barangay. It started with a call at 1:43 a.m. Dispatch crackled through Rafael's radio. Unit 41. Disturbance reported in Barangay Maligaya, Zone 7. Caller reports a police siren circling the street repeatedly. Rafael frowned. Any unit already assigned? Negative. No patrol logged in that area. That's impossible, Rafael muttered. I just cleared that zone 30 minutes ago. Static swallowed the line. He sighed, started his engine, and headed back toward Maligaya. The rain intensified, hammering the windshield. As he entered the barangay, something felt wrong immediately. No tricycle engines humming. No karaoke echoing from late-night drinkers. No dogs barking. The streetlights buzzed weakly, casting orange halos over empty sidewalks. Then he heard it. A siren. Faint. Wailing. But not from his cruiser. It echoed from deeper inside the narrow street ahead, bouncing between houses like it was trapped. Rafael turned the corner. Nothing. No patrol car. No flashing lights. The siren stopped abruptly. Silence returned. His radio hissed. Unit 41. Why did you circle the block 3 times? Rafael's chest tightened. Dispatch, I just arrived. You've been on CCTV for the last 10 minutes, Dispatch replied slowly. Your vehicle passed the barangay hall repeatedly. Cold prickled down his spine. That's not possible. Static again. The streetlight above him flickered violently. Then, another siren. Louder. Behind him. He spun around. At the far end of the road, through sheets of rain, he saw it. A police cruiser. Old model. White paint dull and peeling. Lights flashing red and blue. But dim, like they were struggling to stay alive. The vehicle moved slowly toward him. Rafael checked his mirror. No other unit had been issued that model in years. It was the same model used before Divitukstosi Divpadsmitais. The same year of the incident. 4 officers had died in Barangay Maligaya in 2012, ambushed during a response to a domestic disturbance. The suspect was never caught. Rumors said he vanished into the estero behind the houses. Some said the barangay swallowed him. Others whispered something darker. Rafael had been a rookie then. He remembered the blood on the pavement. He remembered the siren screaming that night. The approaching cruiser stopped 20 meters away. Its headlights flicked off, but the siren continued, even though the light bar wasn't moving. The sound came from nowhere and everywhere at once. Rafael stepped out slowly, rain soaking his uniform instantly. Identify yourself, he shouted. No response. The driver's door of the old cruiser creaked open. No one stepped out. The interior light flickered. He could see movement inside. A shadow leaning forward. Then, the radio in Rafael's hand switched frequencies by itself. A recording played. Panicked voices. Gunshots. An officer screaming for backup. It was the archived audio from 2012. The night 4 officers died. Rafael recognized the voice of Police Officer Emilio Santos, his training officer. May tao sa likod. He's behind us. A gunshot exploded through the speaker. The recording looped, over and over. Rafael staggered backward. "This isn't real," he whispered. The rain suddenly stopped, mid-drop, like time had frozen. Raindrops hung in the air. The world turned silent. The old cruiser's engine turned off, and the siren kept wailing. The sound stretched unnaturally long, like a human scream. The passenger door opened slowly. 4 figures stepped out, wearing old police uniforms, faces pale, bullet holes dark and wet across their chests. They walked stiffly, as if joints were broken. Rafael's breath trembled. "Sir," he whispered. Officer Santos stepped forward. His mouth moved, but the voice came from Rafael's radio. "Why didn't you come sooner?" Rafael shook his head. "I was 2 streets away. We were told backup was delayed." "You heard the shots." The frozen raindrops began falling again, but instead of hitting the ground, they turned dark, red. Blood splattered across Rafael's boots. The 4 officers circled him. "We called for help," another one said, voice distorted like a broken speaker. "I was a rookie," Rafael shouted. "They told us to hold position." Officer Santos tilted his head unnaturally. "Would you hold position now?" The old cruiser's trunk popped open. Inside, a 5th body, face obscured by shadow, still breathing, the chest rising slowly. Rafael stepped closer against his will. The shadow lifted its head. It was him, older, eyes hollow, uniform soaked in blood. The doppelganger smiled weakly. "You always arrive too late." The 4 dead officers grabbed Rafael's arms. Their grip was freezing. From the narrow alley beside the houses, something moved. A tall silhouette, dragging something heavy. The suspect, or what remained of him. Its body twisted unnaturally, skin stretched tight like wet paper, eyes glowing faintly under the rain. It carried a bolo knife stained black. Rafael realized something terrible. This wasn't punishment. This was repetition. The barangay wasn't haunted by the dead officers. It was trapped in the moment of their deaths. And now, it was replaying with him inside it. The creature raised the bolo. Officer Santos leaned close to Rafael's ear. "Stop him this time." The officers released him. The world snapped back into motion. Rain poured heavily again. The creature charged. Rafael drew his firearm and fired. The shot echoed violently through the silent barangay. The creature staggered, but didn't fall. It moved unnaturally fast, closing distance in seconds. Rafael fired again and again. The final shot struck its head. The creature let out a sound that was not human. The old cruiser's siren shattered into static. The 4 dead officers froze, their forms flickering like weak light bulbs. Officer Santos looked at Rafael. This time his voice came directly from his mouth. "Salamat. Thank you." The creature collapsed into black liquid, melting into the flooded street. The old cruiser rusted instantly before Rafael's eyes, dissolving into dust. The rain slowed. The street returned to normal. Tricycles in the distance. A dog barking. A karaoke machine turning back on somewhere far away. Rafael stood alone, soaked, shaking. His radio crackled normally. "Unit 41, gunshots reported. Status." He looked around. No bodies. No blood. Only empty pavement. "I discharged my weapon at a suspected armed individual," he said slowly. "Area secure." Backup arrived minutes later. They found no evidence of a suspect. No shell casings. No CCTV footage of another vehicle. But something had changed. In the following months, Barangay Maligaya reported 0 violent incidents. 0 disturbances. For the first time in 14 years, it lived up to its name again. Joyful. Rafael never told anyone what he saw. But sometimes, when he drives past Zone 7 at night, he hears something faint in the distance. Not a scream, not gunshots, just a soft siren fading peacefully into silence. As if the call was finally answered,